All right, and we're back. We're ready to jump into this game. It is going to be game number 2 with Spyderslayer versus Perseus on Overgrowth. LE starting the game right now. The players have been chatting back and forth about who's going to win and who's not going to win and other things.
Yeah, there's. It looks like Perseus is pretty hungry, so
Absolutely.
There's some speculation of match fixing so that he can get some grub.
Well, if a man's hungry, a man's hungry.
That's right.
And we are in the match, and here we go. Game number 2, Spyderslayer versus Perseus, and in the upper right-hand corner is going to be the Terran player. He lost last map, but can he come back in game number 2? It is Perseus.
And in the bottom left-hand corner in the cyan blue carapace, showing some explosive Zerg power, it is Spyderslayer.
Get our map numbers all set up here. Spyderslayer 1-0 in this best of 3, so if Spyderslayer wins this match, he will be moving on to the next. And Perseus will drop down to the loser's bracket if he were to lose. But if Perseus wins, then we will go on to game number 3. As previously mentioned, this is a winner bracket match, so the loser of this will live to see another game and still have a chance to keep going on. That is the format of the day, is best of 3 up through the semifinal, then it switches to best of 5, double elimination, all kinds of good times.
That's right.
So it looks like there is a very early gas here going down from Perseus, so it's definitely going to be some kind of Reapers if I was to guess. Even before the barracks going down, the SCV has completed his mission of building that supply depot and is just hanging out. Oh, the drone does trap the SCV just a little bit, but he wiggles his way out. Spyderslayer here now preventing the barracks from going down, the sneaky snake.
Yep, and he wasn't quite able to do that last time, but now he's really doing it. And it looks like Perseus has just decided, you know what, I don't care if it's in the right spot. It's just going down, and I'll move it later.
Yeah, well, it is pretty interesting, though, because, I mean, if Spyderslayer was to do something silly, which, you know, people can do things silly all the time, it would be hard for Perseus to build, like, a second building just to hold out some kind of rush really fast. So him building it back there could be significant. It could be insignificant. In this case, it looks like it's not going to be all that significant, but still something that happened nonetheless. Spyderslayer does take pride in his mind trickery of all the other players.
Yeah, it's funny because these players clearly know each other. They clearly have a rapport with one another and are just having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought we had told these players to turn off chat in these replays. Oh, wait. That's right. This is a live event, and they can say whatever they want, and it will be seen by the world, or at least the 545 of you that are currently watching.
That is correct, and they seem to be having a lot of fun.
The Reaper is going to be on its way here for Perseus, and it's going to go and head across and see what it can do. The spawning pool is halfway done, so the Queen will probably not be quite out by the time that Reaper gets there, but will shortly. Expansion going down for Spyderslayer as well, so a fairly standard game here so far. Spyderslayer does also like getting his pool fairly early, both to be safe and aggressive, as we talked about before. He definitely enjoys being aggressive and kind of really macros up hard later rather than as early sometimes.
Perseus using the same kind of attack that was used against him in the first game.
But it looks like Perseus is going to be going across the map to do the scouting now with that Reaper, and Spyderslayer does have his Queen on the way. It is about half done. It's going to pop out just about as the Reaper comes across, but the Zergling's going to run into this Reaper here before it even gets into the base, and they are just going to have a party of a time here. And it looks like the micro of Perseus is going to prevail, and eventually that Reaper is going to heal itself right back up. And it is going to move on with this day. But no, 2 more Zerglings say no to that. And it's going to get, oh, it's got such low life. But no, micro once again. But I'll tell you what, that Reaper has not gotten into the main base yet of Spyderslayer. So Spyderslayer has successfully held it out by the use of his Zerglings. But he has lost all of them also.
Roach Warren is nearing completion, though. And that signifies the next phase of Spyderslayer's attack.
Didn't you have Zerglings somewhere? Dead. Yes, of course, he's purporting the fact that he was killing all the Zerglings, but also he almost lost his Reaper. But Terran gun too big. Yep, that's certainly the case. But the Reaper now is going to make its way in. The Queen is there, so not able to get any damage done once again due to those Queens. Command Center about to finish up in base for Perseus. So very similar build of him. Looks like he's going to be getting some Hellions out and now rearrange his ramp here to put his reactor on the barracks and build the strangest wall I've ever seen.
You know, when he wants to. I mean, it's interesting because like anything that comes to attack is going to have to funnel in kind of into that like little V shape and get barraged by whatever's there to attack it.
If it were to be Banelings, though, you could still go for the supply depot here, but it's still. Oh, and the Marine's like, oh god, oh guys, guys, let me inside. It's unsafe out here. I don't like it. Heading across the map is going to be the roaches of Spyderslayer. He does like to make these roaches early, something he does on a regular basis. Tank is 1/3 of the way complete, so if Spyderslayer hurries up with these roaches, he could run in here and maybe take some shots at this supply depot before they do come out, but that tank is hurrying himself right along.
And it looks like he plans this build to try and beat the timing of the tank somewhat, but he's going to be walking into a whole.
He's going to make it. If this tank comes out in the middle, it's going to be terrible. Oh, it does have his rally set to the inside. That's certainly a good thing. Tech Lab going down, so definitely not going to be able to produce any more tanks. He's just going to go ahead and run inside, do the same thing. He does not care about these roaches. These roaches are dead to him.
Yeah, and I mean, he clearly was targeting down the weakest building to try and get in.
He could go for the Tech Lab on that starport, too. It's out of range of that tank currently.
But there's a little bit more this time here for Perseus, it seems, and it's all concentrated. That tank is just kind of deciding to walk around more so than shoot.
Honestly, I mean, if he gets a little bit of damage done, he kills the Tech Lab on that factory. He maybe kills a worker or two, kills a few Marines. I think that's just fine with him. He's, like I said, pretty much these roaches are dead to him, so whatever he can get done with them, he just tries to be as efficient as possible. Even lifts up that tank to get it a little bit closer very quickly. And so not so bad here. Looking at the units lost, they did lose 3 Marines and 2 SCVs, so not a lot killed for the 8 roaches. But, I mean, you have to consider the fact that it kept him busy for quite a period of time, and there was a little bit of time there where he didn't have anything mining also.
Yeah, but I mean, that attack was not nearly as effective as it was in the first game for Spyderslayer, and that's going to see itself played out as this game continues.
Yeah, and you can see both of these players definitely like giving each other jabs in the kidneys every once in a while they're playing. This Reaver here is taking its shots out on that hatchery. But it looks like Spyderslayer going to be going here for the signature, basically the same build as last time.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. I mean, again, it wasn't as effective. Like that roach push was not nearly as effective as it was in the first game. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game plays out differently than the last one did in terms of Marines and in terms of defense.
So no mutas in production yet. Here they come. Looks like going to be about 10, which is pretty much the same as last time. 2 units, which are tanks. I mean, this is the same thing going on again, except the tank drop is going to be a little bit quicker here. Coming across, and there's a Banshee as well. So I feel like this build was maybe a little bit botched last game by Perseus, but he's got his stuff together this game. He's going to be coming in with 2 Hellions, a Banshee, and going to be able to take this Queen down, but not before an inject happens. And he's going to be dropping these tanks right in the back of the main, right as the mutas come out. So if Spyderslayer can get his forces together here, he can come at least deal with these tanks fairly effectively.
Yeah, and Perseus, I mean, this is kind of a neat little timing that he's taking advantage of here. When the mutas aren't really there yet, the roaches have been killed, and so now these mutalisks are forced to be defensive at this point. He had to clean things up. He was able to save his hatchery on the right-hand side, but now he's going to try and move in and take care of those tanks.
Yeah, he is going to completely lose these tanks too, especially with the mutalisks. The medevac can't really get all too close because of the spore crawlers there. But you know, there was a decent number of drones killed. Looks like 5 went down. Which is not insignificant. There were a few killed by Spyderslayer earlier, but it looks like we're going to be fairly even here. 86 supply to 78. Looking at the units, it is 62 drones to 48 SCVs, so Spyderslayer getting to where he wants to be on that work account, starting to get his bases set up, and now he's going to go and give Perseus a little bit of trouble with these mutas here, but not nearly as much as last game.
Yeah, and Perseus knows that he's doing a better job of defending this time than he did the last time, and is making it known to Spyderslayer that he doesn't intend to lose to this strategy once again.
Well, especially now that there's a Thor on the field, which is a giant mobile missile turret against mutas. But that is certainly not going to shy Spyderslayer away, as he definitely loves those mutas. He's getting his +1 attack, as well as +1/+1 for the ground units. There is a infestation pit on the way, too, so I know in the past he has not been shy about the swarm house, so we will see where that goes. It could just be for future upgrades, but looks like Command Center going to be lifted off and fly over to a very distant third base.
And so Hellbat drop is on its way over to whatever target it chooses to hit. but the Mutalisks are over there picking off whatever Marines it can. The Thors do try and come out, but not quickly enough.
Spyderslayer is hot on the trail of this medevac as it did fly right past an Overlord, so Perseus know its days are numbered. And there are Spore Crawlers and Spine Crawlers here, so probably not going to get a ton of damage done, but some shots are going to be fired here. One Hellbat goes down. Second Hellbat is close to going down. Does not get the drones, though. Only one drone killed, I believe.
So not nearly as much done as he would have liked from that. Mutalisks, again, trying to make their way across the map to get any weak points that they possibly can, but there's a lot of turrets out and about here.
Yeah, Spyderslayer doing a good job of keeping himself mobile on the map. The number of Thors is continuing to grow, which you do not want those Mutalisks to cross those.
So now the third base is being spotted by an Overlord that's going to be taken out by tanks, or sorry, Thors.
Yeah, the biggest thing he's going to do, he's going to really hurt the supply here of Perseus a little bit by stopping those SCVs from building the supply depots. As Thors take a lot of supply, and he's just going to exploit the fact that this mech army here that he's developing is pretty slow, and he can just kind of run around here. And one tank does go down, so this is definitely a good engagement here for Spyderslayer.
4 Hellions making their way slowly across the map, and they are going to try and hit at the third base.
There are 2 Spine Crawlers there, though, as well as 2 Queens. So, once again, going to be able to get a few shots on, maybe a couple drone kills, but not going to be anything that's going to ruin anyone's day completely. The 2 Queens do now get engaged. Looks like 5, 6 drones going. Wow, it could ruin day a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised he chose that location. I mean, obviously the 2 Spine Crawlers are very close to the front of that actual base, but he knew all the things that were there to begin with, and 4 Hellions is not a ton to be able to get through that, but good damage was done overall.
Yeah, Spyderslayer producing a lot of drones here. Now he is getting Adrenal Glands, so he's going to be producing a lot of Zerglings here, which is actually going to go pretty well with these Mutalisks against this mech army and those Thors, especially if he can catch some of them off guard or unsiege tanks here. But he's just going to continue poking around with these Mutalisks with some Zerglings and Banelings on the other side. He's found a weak spot here where there are not too many turrets, but the Thors now coming back. And +2 about to finish up for the Flyers as well as the melee units. Oh, my Banelings delegation. It is unfortunately right inside the range of the sensor tower, so Perseus doesn't know that, but the Thors, 2 Thors go down to these Mutalisks in the main base, as well as the turrets not able to finish. So good damage done here by Spyderslayer once again, while Perseus is trying to get the foundation of his mech army established.
Oh, and he
just GG's.
He was hungry.
Yep. very, very hungry. So yeah, I mean, Spyderslayer was doing a really good job of just starting to pick Perseus apart there. I mean, you could tell that he really did a good job of having vision on the map to be able to see those medevacs and the Hellbat drop. That could have been pretty terrible, but because he was able to see it, he was able to stop his advance. And then once he found the back side of that main base, especially with most of the stuff off to the left, it's like, wow, this is the juicy target. This is where I need to focus my efforts. And Perseus was really trying to build that up there, trying to put down the turrets, trying to get the Thors over there, but I mean, then you saw what was going on the left side with all the Zerglings and Banelings. So definitely his style, definitely his strategy, and it worked out that time.
Yeah, it was able to really pull him in 2 different directions, and while trying to get that much mech out, you really have to pick again between Thors and tanks. You can't make both at the same time unless you unless you just fully commit and only make factories. So he's kind of got to make this balance, and there's Zerglings on the map, there's Banelings on the map, although I don't know that he could actually see that they were Banelings. He may have had an idea that that's what they were doing over there.
A group of units just sitting in one spot together, it has to be Banelings, right?
So, yeah, but those Mutalisks were really able to exploit just a lack in static defense in that area. The Thors just weren't placed properly to kind of shoo those away when they were trying to come in, and so Perseus does go down to the loser's bracket. We're not done with him yet. He's going to continue in the tournament, but Spyderslayer continues on in the winner's bracket.
Yep, and it is going to be an epic rematch from Youmacon 2013. Our next stream match is actually going to be Spyderslayer versus Winter.
Oh, my.
So coming up next, Winter will be taking the stage against Spyderslayer. We had some pretty epic matches between those 2 last year, so it is going to be a ZVZ match coming up next with Winter and Spyderslayer, and we're going to take a quick break here while that match gets set up and get the lobby set up. Should be relatively quick because only 1 player has to move stations at this point, so it will probably be about 5 minutes or so, and we'll be back. But before we go, we want to make sure and tell you again about Mythologic. They are our sponsor for this event. They have stepped up and put in a good deal of cash for the cash prize, so we'll be able to pay the top 6 today. And there's no better way to support grassroots esports than paying a large portion of the pool, so the people are really incentivized to come out and really, you know, just makes the people that are like, well, I'm not sure that I can win, but it would be fun and able to come out, and it just really encourages those people to come out. So we really thank MythLogic for that. Encourage you to check them out next time you're looking for a PC, or if you have any friends that would be looking for one. They make some really awesome custom gaming laptops, and they've got a couple new models that are coming out they told us about that are pretty cool. You can get some custom graphics and all kinds of really cool options along with them. So check them out at mythlogic.com or on Twitter at MythLogic. And also, I haven't told you much about us. We're your hosts today. We've been here last year, and we'll be here all day today and tomorrow for the semis, finals, and finals of Youmacon 2014. This year to my right with the fancy hair, he's the pretty face of the show. He is Gallegation.
Hello, hello. And to my left, the host of the show and the one who puts it all together, this is Wingnut SC. You can find him there on Twitter at Wingnut SC.
And same thing, Gallegation at Gallegation. If you like what you see here, go ahead and follow the SC2 CTL channel. That's what you're watching right now. We do all of these kind of events on this channel, and pretty much most things that we do. So. And also other cool events, show matches, live tournaments, online tournaments from time to time. So pretty cool. Definitely recommend you give it a follow. And also check out, youtube.com/WingnutStarcraft. Lots of VODs there from previous events, including the last part of our SC2 CTL season where we got to cast an entire day of series and matches with Grubby and In Control. And so there's some pretty cool matches there, as well as the VODs from today once this is all complete.
That's right. And if you want to get your history lesson in on this next matchup between Spyderslayer and Winter, you can see what happened last year at the same tournament and figure out who you think is going to come out on top based on that.
Yep. So just a couple-minute break here while the players get all set up. I see one at his station, the other I see not at his station, poking at someone else's screen over here. His name is Winter, and he should probably get to his station.
He's clearly not listening.
Yeah, he's not paying attention. All right, so we will be right back. Hang on with us, and we'll get this next match going.